What's going on, everybody? Recently I got the chance to play the closed alpha for a game called FragPunk. It seemingly came out of nowhere after its initial announcement on June 9th during the Xbox 2024 showcase. This initial announcement revealed not only the exciting new gameplay mechanics, but also an early alpha test that would come out around a month later. I did not whatsoever hesitate to sign up, and after getting my code and playing for about 5 days of the alpha, I thought I would give my opinions on my experience so that you can get an idea of what the game is all about for when it releases next year, or even for if there's a potential beta coming up in the near future. FragPunk is a hero shooter slash TAC FPS, very similar to Valorant and Counter-Strike. This game looks and feels a lot like Valorant, but managed to switch out the precise gameplay for more of a traditional FPS feel. Honestly, in my experience, FragPunk gunplay is very forgiving. It's not as focused on precision as like Valorant or Counter-Strike, basically giving you the room to improve and get better without feeling like you're gonna get one tapped around every corner. On top of that, FragPunk has its own unique game mechanic that separates it from the rest of the hero shooters. At the beginning of the game and after each round, you use points acquired from doing different objectives like kills, assists, stuff like that, and you use them to buy different perk cards for every round. This card mechanic completely changes the pace of the game because sometimes you get cards that completely change the pacing of what you would expect from a hero shooter or a tactical FPS. For example, one of the most recurring cards that I saw was this zombie card that allowed you to come back to life after you die as a zombie, and you just attack. Now, not every card is going to completely change the game like that one does, but they all do have somewhat of an impact on every round. Each round you have 3 to choose from, but you can also pay to respin a card, and at the bottom of the screen you can also see what cards your opponents are choosing from, so it kind of, you can try to balance it out, but sometimes it's just luck of the draw. The only game mode I really played during my time in the alpha was the Shard Clash mode, which was the competitive mode. This was basically like your average Valorant match, 2 bomb sites, A and B, and you have offense and defense. They did have other modes like a non-stop scrimmage mode, which I played once for a warm-up, and then a team deathmatch mode, which is, just good old team deathmatch. Because it was an alpha, we didn't really get a full look at ranked. Like, there was no ranks, there was no placement or anything like that. But one of the features that I did like the most outside of the cards was the overtime feature. Basically, the overtime was kind of like a penalty shootout type of thing. You pick your spot 1 through 5. That's the spot that you 1v1 at. And the person who starts out, their job is to win the 1v1, and as they win, they keep going until they die, and then the next person can go on, so on and so forth, until somebody wins. Now, there's no card selection in the overtime, it's just guns and heroes. You still have access to all the abilities and stuff like that, but there aren't any cards to change the style of the overtime. Overall, I was super surprised at the alpha and just the level of customization that you could do and what they had to offer already for an alpha. You could compare it to some already released games like X Defiant and even Multiverses when it first came out, even though that's not a shooter, but you get what I'm saying. As far as the characters, I don't want to get really too in-depth because honestly I could ramble on for an entire video just on the characters alone, so if you want to see that, let me know down below in the comments. But overall, I thought the characters were pretty balanced. They didn't really dominate the feel of the game, but they also weren't weak enough to where they didn't really affect the game. I think they felt pretty good for the stage of the game that it's at. And honestly, I can pretty much say the same thing about the maps. There were some maps that I wasn't too crazy for, but there wasn't anything that stood out as like overly bad. Overall, I was super surprised at what the alpha had to offer, surprisingly, because it's only been around a month to 2 months since the game has been announced. They really knew what they came to the table with, and they showed us strong products. I personally didn't have any bug issues or anything like that, so that's always a huge plus for alphas, honestly, for game releases in general. And overall, the customization, the guns, the characters, I don't know, it all felt pretty decent. Like, I'm not going to say it's the best game ever, but it definitely felt really good for what they had, and it kind of gets me excited for what they can do in the future. With all that being said, I'm going to leave you guys off with some gameplay. I'm going to leave some timestamps so you guys can see some of the different characters or some of the different weapons. I'm not sure what the timestamps are going to be, but most likely they're going to be characters. So if you want to skip ahead and kind of get an idea of what the character abilities and all that are like, I'll leave the timestamps ahead. It's very unfortunate.
Let's then try to get through this. enjoy these toxic spores.
Okay, so there's definitely somebody. Me. Okay, yeah, I at least have one teammate over here. Shotgun? Is you out? Is there something about the shotguns I don't know about? Oh, what the fuck is it? It's bots?
Person become corpse. Looking up. Ghosting. Love it. Please don't receive me.
Oh, bro, can I get out of this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Let's go.
Sort of murk someone you know. Am I right?
Oh, he's over there.
I'm shocked
Let's
by
go.
this outcome.
So once I'm in it, I can't deactivate. I got it too.
Really quick, I just want to say if you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching the entire video and consider dropping a sub because I have a lot more content coming soon, especially with games like First Ascendant and this game kind of getting more content as it goes. So consider dropping that sub and a like, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.